So here we are, back in my old bedroom, where according to my phone, this journey started exactly 1,569 days ago. So in all honesty, I have put off making this video for 3 months because I don't really know how I'm even meant to start or approach it, really. But there are a couple of things that I felt like that are important to me that I just want to get off my chest to start with, and then we'll kind of get into the actual video. So to begin with, as you can see, this is my old room. I actually moved home recently, so I guess it's maybe not that much of a surprise that I'm filming in here. I felt like it was important for me to film this video in this room because this is where it all started for me. This is where everything began. This is where the blood, sweat, and tears is sitting in this chair, working on this desk, editing has gone. And secondly, and I think this is the most important part, and something that I always feel like goes awry, is that this video isn't really a celebration of me, it's a celebration of you guys as a community. And because you guys, for whatever reason, decided to press subscribe and congregate all in one area, this is a commemoration of you guys as a community, really. It's not really mine, it's, to be honest. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to say that for whatever reason brought you to press that subscribe button and then stick along or even watch this video, thank you. Everything that I get to do is simply because you press that button. So thank you very much. Now, you guys ask a lot of questions all the time, and I felt that today maybe I could share some of the answers to that. I picked out 50 of the questions that you guys asked. You guys asked over 1,000, so thank you very much if you asked a question. I'm sorry if I'm not necessarily answering it. But yeah, I'm doing this because I want this channel to be an open dialogue, and also I really love going back and watching my old Q&As and seeing the answers that I gave and being like, wow, that was a disappointing answer. You really knew less than you thought. Without further ado, let's begin. Anyways, to begin with, since this video is technically a celebration of content creation, I thought the first category of questions that we could answer is, well, about content creation, which very nicely starts off at the beginning of why I'm even here in the first place, which is why did I start social media and YouTube even? Now, in all honesty, I think there's actually a couple of answers to these questions, but I think the most truthful one is that I kind of fell into it by mistake. The first mistake being that, well, I never got to finish school because obviously of COVID, and I came home at the end of school and was like, right, well, what could I do in my free time? And saw everyone creating these videos online and was like, right, okay, well, I could do that. And the second and probably more important mistake was that my modeling agency told me that they basically needed me to get my face out there, and they were like, we want you to start doing social media more seriously. Number two, what is the first video I ever made, and what is the most underrated video? The most underrated video for me is really easy. It still kind of hurts me to this day that more of you guys maybe didn't get to see it. I suspect a lot of you guys haven't seen it at all, and that is simply the hair videos that I filmed in the cinema. You know, sometimes things don't go well, but I loved creating that, and that was an incredible experience, so definitely that. However, the first video that I made is probably not even available anymore. It's actually a video where I came home from school at the end of COVID and was like, right, I need to redo my room, and I don't know, began the process of tidying out what was effectively, well, it was my childhood room. Number three, what's my favorite video that I've ever made? Now, I think there's a couple of different answers to this. In terms of short form, it's impossible to say, really. I've made so many different videos that I really enjoyed. There was a particular Fight Club video that I made with Kit when I used to dye his hair. That was really fun to make. But truthfully, the only videos that I'd really watch back and don't like sometimes cringe at is long form, like YouTube videos, which is why I'm doing this now, really. 4, what did my friends think of my YouTube channel when I first created it, and did they tease me? Now, to let you into a little secret, when I first started my TikTok channel, I was relentlessly hounded on school group chats. Everyone was like, what are you doing? This is so embarrassing. Yabba, yabba, yabba. It was insane, really. I actually didn't post on social media for like 4 months because of how bad it actually got. And eventually I just came to the conclusion after, well, my social media agency said that you need to do this, that I just didn't care and carried on with it. In terms of YouTube, I have no idea. I'm sure a lot of them have a lot of different things to say about me still. I don't know. I just kind of gave up caring, to be honest. Like, I'm happy doing this, and this stuff makes me happy. So that was the important part for me, really. Number 5, what happened to the skate park? Now, if you've been following this channel long enough, obviously you'll be aware that I once built a skate park in my back garden, and the answer is that it rotted and had to go. 6, how did I meet Kit and Callum? Two very, very different stories. I met Kit at a Halloween party, and we proceeded to have a conversation where he probably thought I was a bit of a prick, and I thought that he was a bit of a prick. But I feel like that's how most male friendships start, to be honest. And then in terms of Callum, we kind of been online friends for ages. Like, I'd always message him when he was like first blowing up. I kind of always knew that he was going to do really well, and I just kind of wanted to lend my support because like I remember seeing some of the early comments and they weren't always nice. And then from there, I guess eventually it was just kind of destined that we were going to meet, and we actually ended up meeting at Bicester Village, which was very random, and we had a lovely day, and he actually helped me get signed to the agency that kind of changed my career. So massively grateful to him, and yeah, they're both lovely boys. So yeah, question number 8, what was my biggest insecurity as a teenager? I think the weird thing is, and the really quite sad thing about all of this is that I am probably more insecure now than I ever was as a teenager. I really didn't give two craps about how I looked when I was younger. That's why I had a shaved head between 15 and 19. The only thing that I really cared about was tennis. 9, how did I spend my time on my gap year? Now, I took a year off in between university and school, and that was simply because, well, it was COVID, and my mum was like, I don't think it's a good idea to go to university when you're just gonna be locked up in a room. And truthfully, that was the best decision I ever made. I got to do traveling, I got to do modeling, and one that I'd say I owe a lot of myself to now, because I spent 95% of that entirely alone. That was probably the best year of my entire life, really. 10, the storyline of how I got kidnapped. Basically, I got kidnapped in Egypt very temporarily. I left a club very, very drunk with one of my best mates, and we got into the car of some people that we didn't know, who told us that they would be able to help us get more alcohol, and that was another after party. They took us back to their place and then locked us in a back room, and basically we had to escape out of a window. It was insane. But yeah, I think looking back on it, I still don't really comprehend the full danger that I was in, and I just guess that we were lucky that they left the window open and we managed to discover that it was open and get out. And then the final question for this category, what am I going to do to celebrate? And the answer is obviously this was 2.5 months ago and I did nothing to celebrate. I actually think I went about and carried on editing a video. The process of my thinking is that it's always the journey that's the most enjoyable bit. I enjoy the process above anything, so yeah, there was no celebrating done. Category number 2, the random questions. These are ones that I couldn't really group into anything and just kind of, I don't know, felt were distributed evenly. 11, can I share some beautiful and wholesome moments that happened in my uni or life? Now, honestly, I do feel that sometimes the most intimate of moments can be ruined by sharing them. I think that sometimes the things that are most special should be kept to you. However, I think one of the moments that just showed to me how kind-natured some people can be is that one of the researchers basically knew that I had a modeling job that I really, really wanted to do. However, also knew that I needed to complete an experiment with like 3 weeks left on my university course, and he basically stayed behind to help me do it because I wouldn't have been able to do it by myself. So I think by him sort of acting in that selfless way kind of allowed me to finish my university degree, because if he hadn't done that, I would have not had a lot of data and probably in turn not got the grade that I wanted. So yeah, without him, I wouldn't be able to sit here and say that I got a 2-1 at university. So yeah, entirely grateful to him. 12, an unconventional but important tip in becoming the best version of yourself. I feel like I spout a lot of nonsense on this stuff or these topics quite a lot, and there is a lot of information or a lot of different versions of like how to become the best version of yourself, but I think the number one thing that I would recommend is just reading. I think you can't go far wrong with a good book. I think that it really can help grow your knowledge on so many different things. So yeah, I'd highly recommend that. Number 13, if I could create one rule, what would it be? Now, I think there's only one that I would really attribute to this, and I think the world would be a lot better place if everyone lived by this, and that is simply that don't judge a book by its cover. I think we spend so much of our lives judging other people, and I too fall victim to this all the time, but I really think that we would be a lot more united as a world if everyone just didn't judge each other based on tiny little things and were actually more interested in actually listening to each other. Number 14, what's one thing that happened that you're grateful for and one thing that you would change? The first thing that I'm grateful for is meeting my girlfriend. She has probably been the number one thing that's changed my life most over the last almost 2 years now. So yeah, definitely that. And then one thing that I'd change is probably the amount that I drank during the first year and how little I looked after myself, because that was a really dark time in my life. 15, proudest moment, graduation, nice and easy. 16, what advice would you give your 13-year-old self? I think at school I spent so long pretending that I didn't care what other people thought, and deep down really cared what other people thought. I think the earlier you realize that what other people think about you really doesn't matter, the better your life's going to be. And if I'd learned that at school, I think I would have had a lot better time for a lot of parts of it. I mean, that's not to say that I didn't have a good time. I had a really good time at school, but I think I would have had an even better time. 17, biggest regret purchase. This is a really easy one, and the answer is buying tabbies. I bought some tabby heels and thought that they were really sick, and at the time I was like, oh, this makes me so different and so quirky, and like in reality, like it did make me either of those things. They were really inconvenient, and I have nothing that I can wear with them anymore. 18, how did I meet my girlfriend? I'm gonna say through friends. In reality, she DM'd me, but it was in truth through friends. I think it's probably the nicest way of putting it. So yeah, I'm gonna say that. 19, favorite tennis player, Nick Kyrgios. Next question. 20, what was my dream job? Now I think I'm gonna answer this as like my younger self, and so I'm just gonna say tennis player, because I would literally do anything to be a professional tennis player. 21, what are my A-levels? Biology, chemistry, maths. 22, what keeps me disciplined and motivated? Honestly, the voices in my head. I think that's the only real answer to say that. I mean, if I do too little for too long, they start shouting at me. So that's kind of how I get back up and do stuff. 23, how did I get into modeling? I'm actually not going to answer any questions on modeling. We're going to do that in the next video because there were so many of these. 24, where is my fashion inspiration from? Anywhere and everywhere, to be honest. Online, Pinterest, in person, I don't know. I just see things that I like and I'm like, oh, I reckon I could pull that together. And then I pull it together and I wear it. 25, top 3 fashion trends. I find the word trend exhausting. It's so integral to the world of influencing and content creation that I just find it so irritating. And the reason that I say that is simply because I feel like so much of our lives are dictated by trends, and I feel like people would be so much happier if they just did whatever they wanted and stuck to it. 26, did I speak German as a child? Ja, ein bisschen, aber ich habe mein Deutsch vergessen. Also, ich noch immer Deutsch lerne. I did some when I was younger and I've forgotten it all, and then I'm trying to learn it now. 27, ways to stay sober in a culture where drinking is the culture. I think the real way that I got around it is I just started drinking lime sodas on nights out and like ordering all the drinks. So I'd order the round and order a lime soda, and then everyone would be like, oh, he's clearly drinking vodka lime soda, which I wasn't, but no one knew it. So no one would then say anything, and then eventually I then just plucked up the courage to be like, nah, go f yourself, pretty much. That's kind of what I eventually got to. And now, because I know what it feels like to be entirely sober and I know how good it feels, I'm just like, you actually, to be honest, I feel sorry for you because you don't know what you're missing out on. 28, the question that I have been avoiding for so long is what football team do I support? And the answer is I support Tottenham. I also go to a lot of Sunderland games, but yeah, I am unfortunately Spurs through and through. I've supported them since I was 5. Next up, because, I thought I'd make it a little bit more interesting, I thought we'd do a quick fire round where I answer the questions in simply one word, or 2 words, or 3, but it's quick. 29, what is my favourite thing to cook? French toast. 30, what was my favourite photo shoot? One that's not come out yet, but it was in Barcelona. 31, what is my least favourite tube line? The Jubilee line. 32, what is my favourite watch brand? Either GG Lecoultre or Longines. 34, dream car. Since I've driven it, the Ferrari Testarossa. 35, what music do I listen to? Kanye and Kate Trinada. That is literally what I listen to every day and all I've listened to every day for the last 5 years. 36, what is my height? I am 185.5, and if you don't believe it, it's also on this card. 37, favourite place? Namibia, without a doubt. It's the most beautiful place I've ever been. Incredible food, incredible people. 38, favourite colour? A nice navy blue. And then finally, the final section, the future. I get asked so many questions on this, and I found them quite frustrating, to be honest, over the last sort of 6 months, because I didn't really know, I didn't really have an answer for it, but I think I finally got an answer, so let's do the future. Firstly, 44, how are you finding life after university? So after leaving university, I was lost. I was actually lost maybe for about 5 months. Like, I didn't really know what it was that I was trying to do. I started hating posting on social media. Now that I finally worked out like what it is that I want to do, I'm a lot better, so thank you for asking. 45, do you think you might live somewhere other than England? And to keep it brief, the answer is I really, really hope so. I really want to. I want to do New York. I want to try and live in Japan for a bit. I want to try live in Germany. Like, there are so many different places I want to live, and hopefully that will happen very, very soon, because I don't want to get trapped living in England, because I feel like the world has so much more to offer. 46, am I going to continue my research in cancer studies? The best way to answer this question is to tell the story that I tell everyone when anyone ever asks me this question, because this is probably my most asked question. Basically, the story goes like this. When I was doing my work experience, I was lucky enough to do it at the Wellcome Trust, which is one of the most prestigious research charities, funds, whatever you want to call it. It's worth over 2 billion. And the person that I was shadowing had developed or headed up the actual research team that had developed 2 vaccines to malaria in East Asia and had probably saved tens of thousands of lives. And I was like, wow, I would really love to be this guy. I think that that is incredible. However, at the end of the week, when we were all sort of asking questions, one of the questions that came up was like, how much money are you making? Which, for a 17-year-old or an 18-year-old to ask someone that is kind of nuts. But it was a valid question. And pretty much he was like, if you're going to do this, you don't do this for the money. And he was like, I lived like a PhD student until I was 33, in which he was earning about £13,000 a year. And then from there, he still earns less than the person that pours his coffee in the morning at Pret. Now, hearing that answer, you might be like, oh, but James, that just means that you're just simply chasing the money. My answer is that I want to earn my financial freedom first, and then maybe one day I'll go back and pursue my passion. 48, where do I see myself in 10 years' time? Now, I find this really hard to tell because I feel like I've had and spent most of my life being laughed at for the things that I've always wanted to do. So I'm probably not going to give you guys the full answer. The short answer is that I want to be financially free. Hopefully you guys can come along for the journey for it, because I think hopefully we're going to do some really cool things. 49, will I ever be launching my product? I answer myself this question a lot at the moment, to be honest, because the process has just got ridiculous. However, the answer is yes. This is the final approved formula. We're now just finalizing our thoughts on the scents. If any of you guys would like to try the product before it launches and be the first people to try the product, then please send me a DM. I would love to send you some of the products, and hopefully you guys can send us back a review, an honest review, by the way. If you don't like the product or if there's something wrong with it, please let me know, because I would love to know before launch so that I can make the change. The only thing that I do want to note, by the way, though, is that this product is for straight hair. So please only send me a DM if you've got straight hair. If you've got like an afro, obviously, well, this product's not for you, unfortunately. But maybe there'll be a product for you one day too. I'm very excited for that, because that is kind of what I'm hoping to see myself do over the next couple of years. So yeah, if you would like to try some, please let me know, and I can send you some. The final question is, what is my message for you guys? I think that there is only one real thing that I can continue to say, and it's something that I say in pretty much every single one of the videos that I make, because it is the one thing in my life that has been true. It's the one thing that's been consistent. It's the one thing that I have evidence for, and that is that if you just show up, you will achieve things. If you show up, you are already taking a step that so many other people fail to do. And no matter what it could be, as I always say, it could be starting a business, it could be literally anything. And, you know, by me simply just showing up on this platform, somehow 1 million of you have decided to come together and join this community. And to those of you that have done that, as I said at the start of the video, I am very grateful. That was a lot of questions. But yeah, if you have got any other questions that for some reason I didn't answer, because I'm pretty sure I answered literally everything about my entire life in there, please do leave them in the comments below. And yeah, as always, please make sure you like, subscribe, check out my other videos, and yeah, have a lovely day.